What's up, everyone? Welcome, welcome. This is the first official Savage Crucible episode that we're going to be doing. This channel is going to be a channel where you can come and get your Savage Crucible news in the future. We'll be possibly showing off things here, talking about, where the line's going to be going and all that. But today we have a very special episode because we have some of the team here with us. Of course, everybody knows Rob, the harbinger himself, over here. So, Rob, thank you for being here with us today. Really excited to have Matt O'Toole here with us, the Dwarf Lord. He was celebrating St. Patty's Day last night, so we're very, very grateful that he can make it this morning. So. We're also going to be having another guest, hopefully tuning in with us here shortly. But we'll get it going here with Matt. Matt, man, so happy to finally meet you and talk to you. Give us a little bit of information about yourself, man. How did this all get started? Where let us know about you.
Bring me right in there. I'm popping my Virgin live stream cherry. I told you I was hungover, man. No. What was your question? Wanted to know a little background.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, why don't you tell us where you grew up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, dude. Wait, can we swear?
Yes, yeah, freely. This is the Crucible, after all. Come on.
We're doing the
yeah. That should have been the introduction to the video. Just, what's up, everyone?
In a town in England called Wolverhampton, which is like, it's like Moss Hole. So, that's where I grew up. And then moved to job doing like makeup effects and creature effects in the movies, which was kind of just an accident. And then after a little while, I met my day and thought to myself, "Yeah, I'll keep her." And then we moved here, Orleans. That's the really short version.
So you've always been in New Orleans since you moved here in the States?
Yeah. I moved here and liked it and stayed here. And I'm also kind of lazy, so the idea of moving from the UK was like, well, moving from New Zealand, I did a job in New Zealand and then moved from New Zealand straight to here. So like, a big fat move again. Oh my God. That sucks all your money. Sorry.
I know we had a little bit of a similar experience for me. I moved from Greece back in '98, so we did that whole, get a big box loaded with full of your stuff, put on the ship, wait for it to arrive and all that. So yeah, that's not fun at all.
You obviously know, yeah. So you're in the States right now?
Yes, yeah, in the States, North Carolina currently. So.
Oh, okay. My brother lived in North Carolina. Cool beans.
Wait, there's
Now,
more than one of you?
What's that? Who, me or Matt?
Both of you.
Oh,
Matt.
hey, you never know. There could be out there. You never know.
Dirty foreigners, mate. Coming up.
So, Matt, you said earlier, you were getting it, or you're working in special effects. A lot of people are probably familiar with your work, but it's nice to now kind of put the face with it. Would you like to share some movies or series that you've done effects for?
Well, I've been doing it now for like well over maybe 26 years. My first movie I did, which was the one that got me walking on set, I was blown away because you don't realize how. But the first movie I did was Event Horizon, which was that space horror movie back in the blown.
Mm-hmm.
Just blown. Walked on set, and I'm just like, "What is going?" You got all, around. You're like, "What is going on?" So I was tripping out, and that hooked me in. I guess I've done The Hobbit. I did the new flop from Amazon. Which was fun. It was
Power Rings. No.
yeah. I did Game of Thrones. Just a little bit of Game. I've done Bad War Horse. I did Prometheus, that Alien movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just lot, and then between those sort of more notable ones, little ones, which are actually more fun.
Mm-hmm.
The budget's not as good, but yeah. I did Oliver Stone's Alexander back in the day. Boring as that film was, the time on set was just. I mean, we was like van surfing through the desert, like standing on top of the van. So it was bonkers. But we just had a blast on that. That was one of the best ones I've ever done. It was, yeah.
Huh. Very nice. Now, have you always been a fan of, let's say, fantasy or kind of fantasy, sci-fi, horror? Was that some Death Dealer action there?
Yeah, that was just the little Death Dealer. Yeah, I just thought I'd just show him as a little. Oh, look at that! I've got a nerd for that kind of stuff. I mean, this is my desk right now. I've got nonsense on it. Look at this guy. Wait, can you turn the camera around? Probably not, but it's that big dude.
I think you have the ability to, but
oh, there we go. So yeah, I've been working on that. I work on, I love my. It's like my every time I get to do something that's remotely filming in a film, it's a dream job. Like I was saying when I did Alexander. And also, so it's close. And the moment I was I went up to one of the costumes. I was like, "Dress me up, man!" I started laughing. I was like, "No." So instantly, I walked like covered me in blood. So he covered me in blood, and I put on the costume. I ran up fighting stuntmen and having a laugh. And it was all under the guise that I was not a god. God, self-contained. What we do is we pick them up and then rig it with blood. You have the tube going round. So as you pretend to hit someone, blood's flying everywhere. So that's the excuse to get into costume.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Matt, is it possible to stay a little closer to the mic? It seems to be chopping a little bit when you're speaking.
Oh, okay, you got it. But I stay too close because then that shows that big old.
Yeah. We want to pick up the fine definition of your face there.
One needs that. No one needs that.
That's great, man. And it's awesome to me hearing you talk about this, how you're behind the scenes of all of this, getting to see it made, you're creating it yourself, and then we get the final product, so we kind of see it all finished up, after it's gone through its special effects and all that. So it's good to hear how it is from your side of the spectrum there. So
Yeah, I think originally, excuse me, I think originally it absolute excitement. When I first started doing it, and over the years of doing it, the excitement's obviously waned. It's disappeared because I've become old, but what it is now is like it's that sheer love for your dream. You know what I mean? So you spend rather than just like trying to impress a director. Now I'll be like, no, dude, you gotta wait. You gotta wait. So it's like my passion changed over time. I guess I've gone get older.
That's great.
Nice.
Well, last thing I'm going to ask about the special effects, because I'm a big fan of old school latex effects. Like as far as horror and like
Yeah.
Terminator, for example, and all that.
Yeah.
Where do you kind of lean on that? Are you more so a fan of that style? Are you more so the fan of the new style where some CGI is also added into it, or what's your take?
It's a weird thing where you kind of have to grow with it. If you don't, you're kind of screwed. But the good, well, here's the long story. When I remember watching Jurassic Park with two who I was working with, and as we walked out, the first just Jurassic Park, and as we walked, we're done for. It's over. We might as well retire. Find a new, and then as we realized slowly what happened is it was kind of like I couldn't like effects and they built the blade,
Mm-hmm.
So I actually find I don't mind the crossover, and it's got to be expensive, If you throw some money at it, we can do a good job, and that will seamless blend. But if it's some piece of shit budget, it obviously looks like crap. I'm with you. My heart completely lies in the practice, silicones and rubbers and real blood and real ink punch the needle one time. It's real. That's where it all lies for me, for sure. I appreciate the some of it.
Very nice. Well, we've have a bunch of people here tuning in, saying what's up. Hey guys, I'm sorry, some of you guys, it just brings you up as a Facebook user, so I'm not 100% sure who you are, but we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Scanning real quick to see if there might have been any questions asked. We got Happy Sunday. Thank you guys. Also, Brick something. Thank you. We did have a what was it? A reminder post that I guess some people were waiting on for the video there. So thank you for posting that. We're live on here now. But yeah, guys. Well, Matt, how did you eventually end up meeting Rob, or and getting started with the whole sculpting thing?
Rob, you called me, or I can't remember.
Did he slide into your DMs?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it was.
I think I reached out to him, asked him some flowers. He ignored me at first.
Yeah.
No. I think so. Originally, most for the people that are new, Matt used to have, or still does have, Castle of Power, and he would do this thing where sculpts, and that's a pretty labor-intensive gig. but not only that, Matt also with his job will be sometimes out of the game, and so it sometimes can be very difficult to get some of his pieces. He just wasn't in a position to make them. And
yeah,
so
I remember you saying, like, dude, how many do you sell? And I was like, oh, like any, maybe 15, 20, maybe 25, dude. Sell it for, and I was like, yes, sir.
I'm a big time roller here.
He's like, look, and he ran it down for me, and I thought to myself, okay, that sounds cool. This guy seems like because I didn't know him from Adam. I thought he seems like a stand-up dude. It turns out he really was. Often I'll get that little bank transfer. I'm like, holy shit, it's awesome. But yeah, I was doing stuff like this. Let me pull some up. Hold on. This, you can stick it on something so it doesn't look as clumsy with my big fingers. This guy, which is like
oh wow, let me bring you up here.
That's a warlord, the little and I did that so you could get like a warlord. But this is a it's got a slight flex to it, but it's a fast cast. A pot you pour up out of the silicone mold, and this is one of the only ones I got that didn't have bubble right here. So as Rob said, it's a serious pain in the ass to always get bubbles. Like look at this one. You remember Hook? I think he was from the Galaxy Warrior, and I did a version of the classics. But again, you get I don't know whether you can see that, but you get like a big stuff. So that doesn't work. And then of course when I start digging with Rob, these amazing, beautiful, perfect scans, super tough, super. But yeah, and that's that. That was it. I thought, yeah, dude, I'm in.
That's perfect. So let me ask you this: you only do traditional sculpting when it comes to making pieces? Do you do any type of 3D?
I'm trying to get into it, but it's like it's like an old dog new. I understand the concept of it, like the remeshing. I kind of get it, and I've messed around with like what's the other one? There's Former or Forger, I think it's called. I've messed with my iPad, but at some point soon in the future, I'm going to get a little ZBrush and a ZBrush, and and give it a real go. Every time I do something, get scanned, and then we and it what did you say? I like digitally restore. I like that. It was like the restoration process, of and I'll be like, no, this needs to be tweaked there. That needs to be there. And he's awesome. Of course, he knows what he's doing. Just tweaking what he thinks it is because the scan might have been off. So we had this process back, and it's awesome to see what he does, but it's also super frustrating. Sculpting tool and get in there and like, oh, push this here and do, So at some point, I will sit my ass down and give it a try.
You just need another 24 hours in a day, eh, Matt?
Exactly. Sure, this is what I like to do. Like, like this is
okay.
if I show you on the slide, this is class. But it's
very nice.
Stuff like that is what I like. Is what I really.
Nice, very nice. You ever do any type of clay animation or anything like that?
I've dabbled. I'm not patient enough for animation. You know, like the boop, boop, would drive me bonkers.
It's funny,
yeah.
I might not be able to see the names, but I can tell exactly who sent this comment right here. I'm pretty sure we can all guess.
Wait, hold
Thanks,
on.
Tim. Yeah, we'll try and persuade him to make it happen.
Wait, hold on. I got that. I don't know where it is. I don't know. I think what's going on, but the whole it's a garage, and it looks like it's been robbed. It looks like I've had a bit of time off work. I'm saying to my wife, "Babe, I go shopping for baby. You could do the garden." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Now get on with the garden. I go to the shop and tidy up. You could do the front room. You could do this. You could fix that. And so I'm working in the house all the time. I never get to come in here and do like but yeah, real state. It's the real state.
Well, Gordon was able to tune in with us right now. Gordon, welcome.
Finally, sorry about that, folks.
No worries, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure to be here.
Hey man, lean right in because I can't see your face.
I don't think we've ever seen each other before. Yeah, this is a treat. So I jumped it right in the middle of the conversation. So what's
we're taking bets. We actually thought we'd be drunk to show up, but we weren't really sure which one of you guys partied the hardest for St. Patty's Day.
Yes.
Man, I'm so out of the loop. I didn't even know it was St. Patty's Day. Is it? I thought it was next week. I have no idea. I didn't even know the clock sprang ahead today. So out of it.
Kalispera, somebody saying hello, good day, good morning in Greek over there. Might be Yanni over here.
Probably is Rubus.
Yeah. So, what was that, Matt?
I said my wife just walked in my shop, flashed the light, right?
Hey, it keeps it interesting, you know. So we were able to hear a little bit from Matt and how he, what his occupation is and how he kind of fits into the world of Crucible and all that. Gordon, let's hear a little bit from you, man. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
How much do you want to know?
As much as you're willing to give us, man, I guess.
All right. So I'll start with nervous as hell. Never done a live stream before, so this is weird. I'm a community college professor, primarily focused on anatomy and physiology, steeped in pop culture, Star Wars, Star Trek since as early as I can remember. I still have my first action figure. I don't know what that says about me. 1978. I maybe Ego or Renko. What's that? So I don't know. It's weird talking about this. I don't have nearly the experience that Matt has, or in fact any of the other guys. So I think I gravitated towards the digital aspect of the creative side of stuff. Just I don't have a dedicated workspace to do it any other way. So the digital side was just very attractive. If it's either sculpting or even like the Photoshop stuff, I could do it here in the house, but I had to set up my space, tear my space down every single time. So the digital aspect is very attractive in that way. It's all right here. Plus, I'm already sitting in my computer working, so I can check my email. I can do a render in between grading, and whatever happens to fit in, whatever Rob's looking for that day or Nikki, we'll pull it off.
Now, Gordon,
Very nice.
Actually, I think you're in New York right now, but you're originally from a small island community from Canada?
Newfoundland, yeah. I'm out on the east coast of Canada, so I don't know what the population is. 500,000 maybe for the island, and I'm on the furthest tip, the east coast. So what I think is possibly the oldest city in North America. St. John's. So
Yeah.
over 500 years old. So it's small town boy, moved to New York, living in a small town New York.
Well, it's a beautiful place, north that part of the country. I used to live in Liberty, so I was outside New York City, but it's I think when we all think of New York, concrete and tall buildings, and there's a lot more trees than people realize.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about that when I moved here, but when I got here and we went house hunting and we were upstate, it was like, this community is not that different than where I came from. So this transition is not going to be too crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, you've actually had the opportunity to sculpt from some other toy lines.
I did a little bit. I don't know if you can see. That's a Playmobil pirate ship, but there's a Plunderling in there too. So I've done a little bit of work for Plunderlings. I did some of their accessories, 10 accessories for their line. The
Nice.
I think the saber, the spear, the anchor, slingshot guns, they're pretty cool. They were cool designs that they gave me for that. That was an interesting arrangement. I kind of threw, there you go. Yeah, that double-handed sword.
Nice.
I love those guys. Yeah. Crazy kitty, but super dangerous designs.
Very nice. I have that same exact one, Matt. The only one I have.
I got this one because it kind of reminded me of New Orleans a little.
Yeah,
like
Voodoo, it's a given.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great guys to work with. You know, that was the first thing I'd ever really done for anybody outside of our arrangement with MAFC and, just the guys working on stuff. So they were patient with me. They were back and forth. It was a really cool experience.
Awesome. Yeah, Ricky's a pretty good guy. Now, do your students know that you do anything with toys?
I tell them every single semester. First day of class is always the most awkward. So I get everybody to talk to everybody else in the classroom, and they hate me for it. But it's a fun exercise. And I tell them I never ask you to do anything I wouldn't do myself. So I always completely confess gaming, toy collecting, comic book reading, everything right up there in front. So, they're expecting the Star Wars jokes throughout the rest of the semester. They're,
Nice.
we can
Gordon,
battle what's better, PC or console. Sorry, Stelios, go ahead.
No, go. No, finish what you were saying.
No, it's basically, it's just a way of connecting. It's getting harder though, because the older I get and the younger they get, I don't even know what they're gaming anymore.
Change, yeah.
I used to talk about music. I don't talk about music anymore because I don't know what they listen to.
I was going to say, did you give a PowerPoint presentation and break down the Savage Crucible Kickstarter so they knew, how to add the figures and, all that?
I considered it. I didn't want to cross any lines though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they'd even know what the Kickstarter platform is. I mean, that's
yeah, right.
I talk about attaching documents to email, and they look at me like I just cast a spell or something. So,
yeah, right. So you mentioned My Action Figure Customs, Gordon. How did you end up, getting to meet Rob and becoming part of My Action Figure Customs and sculpting for him?
That was through a mutual friend, Eric Voorhees, kind of put me on that path. He said, give this guy a shout. And it was probably the most awkward telephone call I've ever been on. I came on strong. It was like meeting a new girl in your teens, right? I don't know if Rob remembers. I sold it hard. And he was like, dude, just calm down. And, we went through some of the sculpts. It's like meeting, it's weird. It's hard to make friends as an adult, and it was hard for me to make friends, period. So as an adult, it's even stranger. So that was just a peculiar telephone call. It probably meant nothing to him, but I got amped up for it. It's like, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what's going on.
Definitely memorable on your end.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it was cool. I mean, if you remember, there was a couple of things we went through. We were talking about one shield in particular I just put up. I was operating very low key on Shapeways at that point. And I gave that up fast because their turnaround is just not quick enough to actually improve anything, and expensive and unreliable durability. The processes were not, they're just randomized. Like if you want something polished, they throw it in a polisher and there's no control. It could spend 10 seconds, it could spend 10 minutes in there, depending on how it turns out. So
Wow.
there's very little control. So that was weird. I don't know if I made it weirder by talking about it like that, but
No, not at all.
Nah, dude.
Funny, yeah, that's for sure.
so we started small with like bell pouches and stuff and some books, very small items.
Yeah,
and
let
then,
me let's see here.
I got an opportunity to work on some of Rubus's stuff, which was just pure joy.
So trying to bring up the site here just so we can see a couple of things that you're talking about. There we go. If you see it, let me know. I'm kind of scamming through here.
There's
But like,
some of those pouches.
most recently, Rob just acquired the license again. Like everybody knows for the from Frazetta. So these are some items sculpted by Gordon here. The shield. I don't want your notifications.
They're going back to I think that's like 2009. These sculpts are so. For me, that was not long after I actually started sculpting. I didn't start sculpting till about late 2017.
Wow. Yeah. So fairly new in it.
Yeah, I'm not a customizer. I don't paint. I just can't bring myself to pay $25, $35 for a figure and then botch it with my paint. So even though I'll buy two of something and it's like, this is for customizing, this is not, and then I'll get it in hand and say I still can't do it. So
slates.
Yeah. Well, even those, I mean, I've got a bunch of those in my order, but I'm not going to paint them. I'll get Tim to paint them maybe, or anybody else who's on hand. But
Tim,
I was
got some commission work coming.
Yeah, I was going to try my hand with what is her name? I'm looking right at her now. Savage Ventress. I love that character from the Clone Wars. So I bought an STL file. Look at that glorious piece there.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
That's crazy looking.
Yeah.
And I didn't sculpt the STL file. I just bought it, and then when I got it in hand or digitally, it was a 1-to-1 scale, so it was for a human prop. So I finally bit the bullet and downloaded Blender, which is free, open source software. So scaled that back, and then had that printed, and that was just a mess. So that's when I got into using SketchUp, which was also free at the time. But I'm not going to read any of the comments because I'm nervous enough as hell. So it's just going to throw me off. What's going on?
Blender and SketchUp, are they at Blender and SketchUp?
I didn't catch that, Matt. I'm sorry.
Okay, brother. Are Blender and SketchUp, are they like? Can you get them on like your pad?
I'm not sure. Blender is a pretty heavy duty program. I mean, I think you'd have to have a dedicated PC for that. SketchUp does have some stripped down versions for the iPad. I've seen them do their YouTube shorts all the time for that. It's more it's more architectural, pretty focused kind of geometry rather than any kind of whereas ZBrush is very intuitive. I mean, I don't have a traditional sculpting background, but yeah, ZBrush seems to be more aligned with that approach.
Right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's cool. I don't even know what I was talking about. Again, like I said, I had some issues getting online. I'm not fully caffeinated yet.
So, guys, let me ask you a question. Let's start with Matt first. Excluding the characters we currently have in Savage Crucible, what are the characters or types of characters you met next?
What? The last piece.
Character would you most like to see in Savage Crucible next?
Dude, dwarfs, man. It's always dwarfs. I'm like that. I love dwarfs. I have no idea why. I've got the love for dwarves. I think if he squatness, the big fat, it's just like the inner me, the guy that wants to just drink beer, fart, and fight. All of the F's, So it's just that, I just love dwarf, space dwarf right now.
That's awesome.
But yeah, yeah, dwarfs. So Rob, come on, man.
I know.
Enough said.
I know.
And what about you, Gordon?
I'm looking forward to the larger animal, like anthropomorphic type characters.
That's
like
cool too.
Well, I didn't play D&D, but I played a lot of Palladium in high school and college. So my first character I played for about 5 years, he was a wolfen. He was like big, 7-8 foot tall.
Nice.
Wolf guy. So I'd like to have one of those on hand. That'd be very cool.
What did you say you played, Gordon?
Do you think
it was a role playing game? It's not a Dungeons and Dragons. Palladium. Lee plays a lot of it. No, it's got roots that go back nearly as far. I haven't played in years, but I still collect the manuals and stuff because the artwork is just phenomenal.
Medium, I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. Now Matt actually worked on Dog Soldiers, which I think best practical effects for a freaking werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a high budget movie, and I think it still was pretty awesome.
I appreciate you, but I don't know. Best effect. I mean, we had fun, but yeah, we sculpted. Well, ice suits, but we made 3 suits in just under 3 weeks. It was done anything. It was nuts. Yeah, just under 3 weeks we made hair, teeth, eyes, mechanics. Just insane, utterly insane. So the sculpt took 4 days.
Wow.
When you think about a 4-day sculpt, it's nuts.
So you think you want more of a large character to be first, Gordon?
See, I'm not thinking about it from a production standpoint. I'm just thinking about it from a cool. I'd like to see.
No.
Yeah, I'm looking at something up on my shelf. I don't know if I'm allowed to show it or not. So I'd love to have that, fully realized. That'd be really cool.
Oh, you can show whatever. Don't mind.
No? Okay. I mean, this is that dwarf coin.
Oh yeah.
So let's see if I can get something up here behind it for some contrast.
Paint on there, dude.
There we go.
Yeah.
You can see I've never done this before.
So this is
There you go.
yeah. Arlen did
awesome.
this.
Love that.
This is what, like 2 years old at this point, I think.
At least, yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's gone through changes since, right?
What's unique about that piece is that we create that one body, but we have add-on parts to give it a much bigger, taller look. That's one of the approaches. We were also considering a different approach where we had to have an entirely different body, larger frame, or buck rather. And so I think that's one of the decisions coming up for me, is just deciding, because I know a lot of people want shark men, and that cat-like character from is very popular with a lot of people, so that's a big ask right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, as you guys have heard me talk about how expensive rather tooling is and like that, so I don't know. We'll see which one the was easier to do from a tooling standpoint versus going to an entirely new buck, but I think we have different sizes in our toy lines for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, Rob. Now, since we're kind of on the topic of lichens and anthropomorphics, um, is there any possibility that we can get a lichen, like you were saying, that certain pieces are added in with it to enhance it, to make it look like it's going through different stages of transformation, let's say? Like, let's say, for example, like,
Yeah,
like the Jaeger buck can be like, like he's kind of just turned into like your wolfman. And then you can have one where it's more beastly, more, more definition to the lichen, let's say.
we thought about that, just in terms of having their hairier versus a bare skin forearm, and then having a chest and things of that nature. If you look at some of Rubus's, you'll see some of the guys are hairier than others, which I think a lot of us on this call, at least on our chests, so a little bit more realistic than whelps that are out there. But yeah, I think so. I think that would be a way to go. Just run into is time, and I know everybody wants everything feasible. So
Mhm.
I think that most people realize, or I think they can see that willing, and it's just going to get a lot bigger in terms of the amount of tooling that we offer. So I think we'll probably talk about dwarves in the next month or so, a little bit, about what's coming. I mean, obviously
Matt's
we have
getting
that
all giggly.
one buck out there. Yeah. I mean, him
Just
and
get
him,
the
him and
background.
Kevin went pretty crazy on the dwarf stuff. So a lot of fun stuff behind the scenes.
I've been telling people, because that there was some that were saying like, "Oh, I wish we were getting some dwarves. I wish we were getting dwarves." I'm like, well, just wait, because when you do get dwarves, there's going to be more dwarf than you probably were expecting. I think it's just going to be
Yeah.
balls to the wall. Like, oh my god, like people are not going to be ready. I feel for the dwarf wave, and it's and from what you've said and from what we've seen with the line, there's so many customizing possibilities from the gate, not even talking about customizers, so it's going to be, I'm so excited for that. And Rob, I actually had a question for you. Now, looking at the figures, something just kind of dawned on me while I was looking at it. You kind of did away with the breakage of joints, I feel, especially, well, for the knees and the elbows, because to me, I'm looking at it, right, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, okay, let's say like you snap one of those or something, can we get replacement parts of that specific part? I mean, I don't know if it's in the plans of it, but technically it's as easy as just replacing that piece, right?
Yes. And so it is easier to replace, talking about. And part of the beauty of the elbows from that standpoint is that the amount of customization is pretty extensive. So if you think about a lot of action figures, the joints are welded at the elbows and the knees, so that you got entire legs that you have to replace, or entire arms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so not to harp on Gordon, to refer to arms as from shoulder to fingertip, and arms are actually your shoulder down to forearm. So not get into semantics too much on this, but there's no such thing as an arm. And but on the Savage Crucible figures, you can actually a really great piece to customize is the arm, in terms of the bicep and the tricep, because the joint right there, the joint's actually in the elbow, so it's an easy part to pull off and customize and options. So yeah, given how small that part is, that is something that we're looking into purchase in the future, at least customizers. We'll just see how the response is on the slates, and we have a plan there, but you can pretty much do anything if there's enough demand, and that's the key component. But
Yes,
we're we have a really strong demand so far, which is pretty impressive. But I think that and really enjoy the different things that are out there right now. There are a lot of things we're missing or want, and people just don't pay enough attention to.
Mhm.
And even information bias, where you always find people that say the same thing as you in a sense, but enough demand out there for a lot of these ideas. And I guess we're just about to find out. So,
Yep. So we have a question here: if we can take the Savage Crucible figures into the bathtub.
Yes, always.
certain if they will
Yeah, well-
go. Yes.
You will get loosen up the joints that way too. So
As long as there's no vac metal. I mean, I've destroyed
Yeah.
Cylons that way.
yeah.
Plants that way back metal.
Um,
Has anybody done a back
Yeah,
metal figure lately? I can't.
I don't know.
yeah, I'm trying to think.
I mean, there's a lot of Silverhawks coming out, but I don't think any of them were actually vac metal.
Mm-mm.
Is that
they just paint.
are those robots that came out from Nacelle? Do they have it? I don't know. I don't remember seeing any in the pictures, but
No, I don't think it's vac
I'm
metal.
curious. I don't know. We'll see. Question for you guys is, what kind of diode to see, like little small diode pieces? You know, we're talking about, someone was asking with the bag of coins, and I think that's one aspect of companies. Some do a great job, but a lot of companies don't do a good job of adding to really help their displays.
I think the best was Toy Biz when they were first making those Marvel figures, and they were putting the comic and some type of Dio piece in there too.
That's
So
what I was thinking
that's
too.
a
Yeah.
memorable thing that I remember. And then Diamond Select, but I feel like Diamond Select, you lost quality in the figure when it came, because I feel like they were adding that Dio piece in there, and the Dios were really nice. But yeah, Gordon or Matt, what do you guys think, or what's something that you would like to see for the line?
Oh,
I guess you know what I like? I like stuff like this. I'm about to grab stuff and it's just the way I do stuff. I love stuff like this. Like you got the main guy, then you got like his animal, but the animal's never. That's an incredible
Yes.
cat, the way that articulated. So anything like that, so even if I don't like the prop, I mean I like dragons, but even if I don't like it anyway, because it's just such a trip, So any kind of like figure an animal, and then like we were talking about before, I like to look at any of the old magazines when it was like little like German soldiers and civil old dudes collecting. I guess I am old, but a lot of them are really beautiful. Just the very smallest little weird stand, and it'll ruin castle, like a knight standing on it. But it's so beautifully done. It's a stand, it's more than say, like a G.I. Joe figure stand, which is great and it helps. But it's just that little tiny rock dio that you can stand your eye on, and and makes each little figure look like a little work of art, rather just an act.
Nice. Okay.
What about you, Gordon?
I'm in the same kind of boat. I like the small footprint so it can fit on a shelf, but something. It's funny you mentioned the exact same thing. I go back to like Toy Biz, that Captain America figure with the bombed out kind of wall with the window. So, but there's depth because you can put stuff behind the window. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see like a stone keep wall with maybe a cutaway, or I would love to see these things have like an interlocking kind of capability as well. Stone altars.
To kind of make a grand base, like if it's a line, like to kind of all come together, you're saying, Gordon?
Yeah, I've been toying with that idea for years, though. So it's challenging to come up with something that looks good by itself, but is also able to integrate into a larger piece that has an understandable body to it as well. So that was an early project of mine, but I think like an altar in front of a stone wall with like a window would give you 2 to 3 layers of depth, and you could put in some like a postcard or somewhere in behind that, so you could swap it out.
Right. Yeah.
I really like that.
Awesome.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I like what you said about the small little single piece of art, like small footprint, and if it's a keep or if it's a forest or something like that, yeah, like you can swap your character in and out and completely change the aesthetic.
Yeah, there were, although there were statues, this is old McFarlane stuff, some of the bases, were great.
McFarlane
And
McFarlane did
Matt,
with it like that, and there was those skulls and shit on the floor. That kind of awesome. It's a new, I think her name is, right?
Yes, from the Conan wave, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, the throne.
The one that sculpted that Drizzt in the Panther character. I didn't know.
That's it's opening and all sorts going on, and
I must say that the Panther is better than the figure.
But it obviously didn't do very well because they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just never got behind that for some reason, but they did more than what they released. But I think that
go ahead, Rob, and I'll bring this up.
Okay, I was going to say I think Toy Biz. I think the first thing they figured out is that first that we're basking from. They realized that they were producing as much display pieces as they were to make the full figure. That's where the whole bath.
The big. Yeah. Marketing genius. The minute those come out, like I still get it now. Like crap about that. I just don't care about it. But I got one piece, or like I don't know. I got one piece. And this is what it was. It wasn't puff. It was, from Thor.
From the Thor movie, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought the Thor movie got no connection to it, but I'm definitely to build that sodding character because I've got one piece. Maybe I'm just mental. Maybe so.
So we had a question here, trying to scroll back and find it. Jason was asking if there are any plans for larger monsters or creatures. We spoke about it a little bit earlier, Jason. We were saying how there is plan for a larger type figure. So stay tuned for that. It will be coming in the line eventually. And then a question from our guy, Guillermo here. What are some Frazetta characters that you guys would like to see made other than what's, being made right now?
Good question.
Go ahead, Matt. Why don't you start us off? What do you want to see from Frazetta?
I'd like to see. Me and Rob was talking about this. We see the flesh.
Which one? Say one more time, Matt.
The kind of the flesh eaters, I think they're called.
Flesh eaters. Okay.
Basically, those that just cannon fodder. You know what I mean? It's sort of like, I guess you'd call it Picts from Conan. They're just basically kind of cavemen, I guess. I've always loved those, but also, I mean, you got to go with the women. You want to see some, and I hate to get all you know, misogynistic, skimpy, clad, beautiful Frazetta women. It's like, what want to see awesome Frazetta women, you know? It's like, you got to be careful what you say. That'd be amazing.
Very true. Yep, I'm in the same boat with you. I would love that.
I think these guys do a good job. These guys do a good job.
What is that in the background?
Yeah, right. Let's.
I know. Is that his Batman outfit?
Yeah. Oh, Berenice.
Oh, that's a little sneak. You can't see that. That's a little sneaky sneak.
Oh, too late.
From someone. But these guys do a beautiful job of
That's right figures, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it's called. Except for what really annoyed me, but you know, I get it. These things happen. But they're figures. I think a little more muscle. Not muscle, but a little lean, but either way.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite female figure is the Savage Legends, actually. Have you ever seen that one, Matt? Savage She-Hulk from Marvel Legends.
The Savage She-Hulk.
She-Hulk from Marvel.
Oh yeah. She's awesome. Got her right up. Right. Yeah. And she moves real nice as well. Like, these are cool, but they don't move that great.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And you got to be careful with them too.
You got to be pieces. Yeah, but that Savage She-Hulk is I like that athleticism, right? Athleticism to the abs and the body. Yeah, she looks like she could kick all the. Yeah. I'm up, that's why you'll see me fiddling around. I don't mean to be not paying attention. It's like.
So I think, Gordon, your turn.
Yeah.
Oh, for what I want to say?
Mm-hmm.
I'm ashamed to admit this, but I don't know the names of the paintings. But that character that's in the sled with the polar bears.
Silver Warrior.
Yeah,
they refer to him. Yeah.
That's an amazing piece, and there's a lot to that, but that'd be something I'd like to see down the road.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, and
with the sled though, we want the polar bear sled, right? No.
I'd take any part of it. I'd just take the polar bears if that was all that was offered. Yes. But I really like the kind of sci-fi aspect of the stuff he does too. I don't know, is the brain, is that the name of one of them?
Actually, I think it is.
It's almost like a stripped down naked version of Flash Gordon, almost like he does a couple of those. I don't know.
Is it gonna?
I'm not sure. I know it's in the background. It's just the weird title, The Brain, sticks in my head.
No,
but yeah,
right.
Don't feel bad. The man has the names of all of them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like that sci-fi twist to it too. It still looks like high fantasy. I mean, if you put a sword in the hand of that character, it wouldn't change it at all. But like a blaster pistol just makes it so much weirder and cooler.
Yeah. Well, that kind of takes you back to full circle, back to Masters of the Universe, where you meet your fantasy with your laser stuff, you know, which I guess is right, which is also kind of that could also be one where he's just doing this. I think that's John Carter and Mars one.
I think that's a Conan, or is it?
No, because there's the four-armed guy next to it.
Yes.
Or something like that. That one would be amazing as well. There's so many good ones. But the weird thing is when they're really quite simple. They're just beautiful paintings. Yes. But when you break them, the design, but it's just like the one we're doing is awesome because he's in his simplicity. It's a horned helmet, furry pants, cape, sword, axe, done. And that the classic look, good stuff. This is my bunny. I'm just going to introduce everyone.
Yes, yeah.
Just for the bunny on the live stream, just to mix it up a little bit.
Matt, that's where you're supposed
Bonita.
So tell everybody that's what's for dinner.
Yes.
Yep. No, well, what I do is take bits of fur off further on,
Now, for those that don't know, this bunny was the actual bunny in Monty Python's and the Holy Grail.
That's exactly
no.
I give her a little weed.
Yeah, calm him down. Keep him calm.
Yep.
Run away.
Oh my goodness.
We had a question here. Are there any more plans for graphic novels or are there any graphic novels in the works or updates to lore planned for the line?
Yes, that the script for this, and the Jaeger's the main character of the second one. I'm still working through my mind how to do like little mini comics on how to.
Nice.
Gordon knows this, but the packaging has an input. I don't know if bio is the right word, but an introduction. And so part of it's a bio sometimes, and sometimes it's a little bit more ominous than that, but lore to explore and different ways to put it out there. So I think the hardest part, I think actually Bobby this, like, because he puts out comics, and for the most part the comics actually lose money. You don't generally make your money back on those, so they're sort of like an investment. Talk about world building and things of that nature. It's interesting because I think I'm collecting overall, it's pretty split. I think half the people really love, the other half don't really care at all. They just like the way something looks. So
yeah,
kind of determine how much you want to really invest in that. So, and I think graphic novels are pretty awesome from that standpoint, but we've also thought about just taking a graphic novel and breaking it up into several issues and then just releasing the year, from a standpoint of also giving people something to waves.
Very interesting. Any no, I'm kind of running through my mind because I'm a big graphic novel fan myself. And what comes to my mind is Dark Horse's Alien vs. Predator series that they have, where you can have some stories that are really long and some stories that are, very short. Is there, like, Crucible to me kind of feels like it could fit into that style of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Is that maybe a possibility where you can have, like, let's say a book, a graphic novel, but in that graphic novel contains like 3 to 4 stories?
That's certainly a concept to explore. The whole graphic novel on Mina the dog from the first one. Be pretty fun.
I would love that.
Standpoint. But it's I don't know, like it's all about like what interests you. I think part it is more about just getting in front of people, and I think that's the hardest part.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? Do most of you prefer the copy versus digital copy? Because I think, ironically, we've had more people purchase the Kickstarter the physical copy than we've actually had people download the digital copy.
Right. I think for me personally, I get whether it's an age thing or but I have it in my hands because I feel like I own it. And I think that's just it's just a thing of holding something, isn't it? It's like, this is mine, I can have it. Like I've got art, and it's so weird. I want to print it out and
that's
then
what
put
I
it in a folder. like, you know, and I've not got it saved, and mine keeps going, dude, you need to get some space, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So at some point when my iPad actually dies, which will be sitting there crying after a bunch of but yeah, I guess I like it physical, yeah, you know, physical copy. And I also like having smaller stories because it harkens back to you know, coming from the UK, you know, which is the home of Judge Dredd and Rogue Trooper and, you know, Slain and characters, and the enjoyment of and it sounds really weird, but I guess it was a kid, but the enjoyment of knowing it was going to be a 4-page comic strip and then the next story, you know, with a whole new character. And I think 2000 AD would do 4 different, maybe 5 different stories each week.
I think so. Yeah.
And they've been pumping those things out since the 70s, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is that?
Yeah, I mean, heavy metal was kind of like that too.
Heavy metal, yes. So that fun to me, and I think it's also kind of appealing to, as someone who draws and paints, you know, appealing to the artist in me, because you don't have that kind of the build up of thinking, shit, I've got to do, you know, 100 pages, or I've got to do even 70 pages, full condensed story of say 6 pages of awesome bath, you know, focusing on that artwork and make it like a little work of art rather than, you know, bashing through it. So there's that aspect, the professional aspect as well, you know, of liking a small story. Don't like a big long epic graphic novel because I do, you know, but I do like that short. Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. Physical copy. I mean, as soon as the digital copy was available, I got mine, so I could read it, and I do screen captures and play with it in Photoshop for various other projects that are going on behind the scenes. But I hadn't even considered the change in format with like the kind of short story. But I mean, I used to read a lot of Marvel Comics Presents. It was on a much smaller scale, but it was like you buy one book and you get 4 stories, and it was. That was awesome. I have, and I don't know if it's a full long box. Probably not. That's a whole lot of comic books, but if for Marvel Comic Presents, but I had a fair share of those. So it's but it's like have it in your hand. I can put it on my shelf. I can pull it down. I can smell the pages. I don't know. That's a big part of it for me. Although the paper's not the same as it was in the 80s.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, it's like a magazine now.
None of that. No. I think for me, I really like the excitement of turning the next page, you know, because you know, you can accidentally kind of over scroll and see what's next. Like, it's nice to have, like, sometimes there's that buildup, you know, especially if the comic book artist makes it so in the book. So I've always been a fan of that. I always, like Matt said too, I like having the physical copy of it, you know, holding it, owning it, you know, and being able to, you know, if I want something, turn to that page, or, you know, go wherever I need to with the comic. So yeah, I think that's the old school in us, because we're not real. I mean, digital has only really been around like 20 years, maybe 15 years now. Like really popping off, I'm saying, not, you know. So
I do the fact that you can, instead of me having to do this, I can just zoom in.
Yeah, zoom in. Yeah.
On it, you know, and I can see the nuances in artwork, because nowadays with the glass straining, you know, there is that. So, you know, I do like both. I do like both. Just holding that stuff. I've got hundreds of them over there on my shelf, you know. So yeah,
very nice.
Good stuff.
I've got stacks of graphic novels. Like, you can't see it. I very carefully moved a lot of the crap from behind the scenes. So from here forward, there's just a pile of stuff you can't see. And it's like my Thor omnibus and, you know, Conan the Barbarian. I've got some Excalibur stuff there. But yeah, the graphic novels, they were, as a kid, I mean, they were like treasures for me. It was like a complete
Oh,
thing. You couldn't get it off the magazine rack at your pharmacy. You had to go to a place, you had to get it, and you know, one guy in the class had the Long Shot graphic novel. I was like, oh my god.
Yes.
Which I just bought like 2 weeks ago. So I feel like my entire adulthood is trying to seek out all the things I couldn't get or have as a kid.
Dude, no
Which
shit.
I think led me directly to Savage Crucible.
Yes.
I know.
It's the case for a lot of us.
I just got these guys, right? And I don't know that
Oh, get out, dude. So that is, I recognize those from comic books because those were ads in the comics.
Well, when we was kids in England, this is Cobra Commando or Barrow, and the Cobra Troopers, they're called Red Shadows. So everything was different. UK we had, and there was all 4 POA. Look,
Yeah.
And then I mean, like, terrible, really bad, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But they ended up getting molds from I guess from Hasbro or whatever, and we ended up getting posable ones. Yeah, you know, you want everything from your childhood, like you were saying, you know, get back.
Well, on the topic of graphic novels, what is a graphic novel that comes to mind that has helped inspire you in either sculpting or work or whatever have you, or inspire you to create things for Savage Crucible?
Me?
Yeah. Start us off.
Oh, everything. Like, I guess John Buscema. I think I'm saying Buscema. The guy used to draw for Conan the Barbarian back in Marvel. His anatomy was amazing. So in a simple style, but that really, and then of course the Slain from 2000. You guys all know who Slain is, right? Or no?
Yes.
Slain from 2000 AD was mind blowing because he was originally a Scottish guy, Max something. I can't think of his name, and he was okay. He was just Eric sort of barbarian, and then Glenn Fabry run covers for the Preacher comic.
Yes.
Started doing like the beautiful, like black, white, intricate, like every vein, every hair on the artwork, and then that sucked me in. And then of course Simon Bisley, you know, started painted the Horned Guard. It was a game changer. Everything changed. Those pages, error on end, and I literally look at those pages, just copy, like unabashedly copy his artwork, and then, you know, over time you make it your own. You know what I mean? You pick up little tips and anatomical tips you pick up from different artists. Then when they amalgamate your own, you know, and a lot of people are like, oh, don't, you know, you shouldn't copy. And it's like, I'm like, copy. Whoever makes you feel, you know, whoever you think's awesome, just copy and copy and copy. Because you won't have their, you know, you won't be copying. You'll just be doing it. Like I said, you know, Slain was my big inspiration for fantasy. There's probably more that I'm not thinking of. Mobius, you know, Mobius back in the day.
Oh man,
right. Mobius. When I hated him because I didn't understand him. I didn't understand that simplicity of line. You know, like kinetic energy to him. He's just boring. And then as I got a little older, I'm like, what was this guy's a genius? You know. So it's just like that. It's like a whole understanding what the art is. You know, like there's probably another look. I'm like, oh, Hellboy, Mike Mignola.
Yep.
Hellboy. Yep.
His stuff's incredible. It's incredible. You know, it's weird. You know? But yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Jordan? What about you?
All of that, everything. I, I, my
Stuff.
I love my comic books. Like I said, I was reading comic books before I could actually read. Like I inherited a bunch from my brother. I still have the scrappy leftovers from the one I bought from the garden party in like kindergarten.
Nice.
But I don't know if I don't know if I could pick out any particular issues or graphic novels for inspiration, because like Matt said, I mean, you take a little bit from everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
You do.
like the artists that I gravitated towards mostly, and was like John Byrne, George Perez, some Ron Lim stuff later on when he was doing like Silver Surfer in the Captain America. But
that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Mhm.
Ron Lim. Man.
yeah, like I'm not an artist. Like I always wanted to be a comic book artist, but I couldn't draw the same face twice. Like I could never make somebody from different angles, and I didn't get into. I didn't understand the kind of the repetitive process of it. You know, you do it, you redo it, you redo it, and I didn't understand that at the time as a kid, so it kind of drifted off. But like I think about George Perez's backgrounds and stuff like that. That's the stuff that used to mesmerize me. Like they show like Avengers Mansion, or you know, the Vision in his lab, and like the background was I just look at the same panel for 20 minutes, looking at all the line work and stuff. So
You like Jeff Darrow?
no.
He's the guy that if you like the backgrounds and the detail and stuff like that, look at Jeff Darrow.
I have to make a note of that. Absolutely.
Yeah, he just showed. He did a bunch of big tablets. You know, those enormous big ones. I can't remember, but the big guy in the he did a bunch of stuff. But yeah, he's awesome.
I'll have to look into that. I know it's not graphic novel, but if we're talking about inspiration, I've been handling a lot of files just for doing renders for the Kickstarter and stuff, and I get everybody else's work feeds into me. So I've been bothering everybody and collecting stuff. So yeah, I mean, the guys, I get to study all the stuff from the guys, from like Nick and Kevin's work. I'm getting all the work from Matt. So Matt, you were talking about stealing from other people to make it yours. I'm stealing from all of you guys. So
I had when work, right? That's the best.
I'm always pulling stuff. Like I'll even send out a text. I sent a message the next day. How did you do this? And like, what tool did you do this? Did you do it this way or this way? Because if you watch the YouTube videos, there's magnificent tools to do everything, and it makes it so easy. But he's like, no, I just did it this, and this. It's like that's so like I never would have thought about that. And that
see at some points on it, allowed into the halls of computer talk. The only thing I can say is like mesh, and
that's what it comes down to. Like, that's what it comes down to, because the responses I get is like, well, I mean, I just did this, and this, and I was like, that sounds like you would have done that in a rec room with some clay, and that's like the perfect way to solve the problem. I was getting too into it.
Right. A friend of mine said that he explained it to me. If you were sculpting with chicken wire, when you stretch chicken wire and all the wire stretched out, you need to remesh the face. It just becomes one big flat plane, right? And so when you remesh it with more chicken wires, then you can sculpt in. And that is the way my brain works. So I was like, push. You just push it and pull it, and add in like clay. So,
How interesting. Yeah. Adding and subtracting, right? Rob, is there a specific graphic novel that you gravitate towards when it comes to thinking about Savage Crucible?
Savage Crucible? I think one of the first graphic novels I picked up was a Marvel graphic novel. I think it was a one shot for Beast, and so I think that's what my first graphic novel. I mean, I was a prolific Marvel collector comics, but
yeah,
I don't think I really got into a lot of. I mean, you guys probably remember my favorite part of the year was when all the annuals started coming out for Marvel, when they would have those big, massive arcs. So like I remember like all those. That was just epically fun for me to read those. So, when I guess they got rid of annuals right around that period.
Mm-hmm.
I think graphic novels started really picking up. So,
you say you want about the hardback type ones?
they were just thicker. Like they were like 4 times or 3 times thicker than an actual comic. And they called them annuals, and they only came out once a year.
A little bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was still a softback, right?
It was still a softback, yeah. But
because when we were kids, we had.
I think that,
but there was like a file, like you literally, and we'd call them annuals, But it's just different.
and I don't really remember DC doing it. I could be totally wrong about that, but yeah, that's my about graphic novels. But in terms of inspiration, I mean, anything that was jokes about Beastmaster and things like that. But that was a great movie as a kid. Fantastic. And then I think most of my comic books centered around like the X-Men and Moon Knight. So I wasn't the biggest Iron Man fan when I was a kid. So
I hated Iron Man. Kid.
I didn't care for him in the comic.
People forget that Iron Man was like a raging alcoholic in the 80s. Like raging alcoholic.
Exactly. I didn't really like. They even put it on the cover, like him, like drunk. I don't care for that. I don't know what to say.
I remember the one where he's like, he has his helmet off and he's just like super 5 o'clock shadow. And
Devil
like,
in a bottle.
his eyes are just bloodshot, and he's like staring in the mirror.
Yep. I was like,
a little too real.
Yeah, well,
it's
I had hung over before, so I didn't really resonate.
Yeah, right.
But I think like the Savage Land. I mean, obviously, I like Lovecraft and a lot, and I think any of the early comic books that were based off of that were pretty awesome. I still love the Hawkmen from Flash Gordon. Those are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another thing that I used to read a lot were the comics in the newspaper strips. Like I
was about to ask you guys if any of you read any of the newspaper. Like Excalibur, I think was part of it. No,
Excalibur. Yeah. A lot of those Defenders of their own little comic strip in the papers or whatnot. So I used to be old enough to remember
to bring it back,
like 6 pages of it.
As I say, I think through for newspapers back in the day.
You broke up for me, Matt.
Like Flash Gordon. Say again.
Flash Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Can't think of the purple guy's name off the top of my head.
Phantom
was in there.
Yeah.
Who else was there? There was a couple that were pretty cool.
The Shadow, or no?
The Shadow was in there.
Yeah, all the old school.
There's just a lot of. It's probably because the newspapers didn't have to pay rights. It's probably why those were all the characters.
That's true.
Very true. Going back to what Rob was saying with Marvel and their graphic novels, they had one done. It was called The Raven Banner, and I can't recall who the artist was on that, but it was really nice because it was based on Norse mythology, so they involved Thor. Like you get this little snippet of Thor in there and stuff, but the tale basically follows the Raven Banner, how the banner brings victory to whoever carries it into battle. And the trolls end up stealing it from him, and this guy has to be, who's basically the flag bearer. He goes on this epic quest with Balder, and tries to regain the flag. I mean, really good Norse mythology, fantasy. They do the whole thing crossing the bridge, and there's a troll underneath it, and the troll comes out and fights him. Like, really good stuff.
Right.
So from a young
Classic.
age, for me, fantasy has always just grasped me and have a strong hold on me. So one issue it's a manga. I don't know if you guys like mangas, but something that I feel you guys would enjoy a lot is the Berserk series. Not sure if you guys have heard of it or anything, but great stuff. Unfortunately, Kentaro Miura, the creator, passed away, I believe, last year. So he, believe it or not, this manga has been running since 1989. He's been pretty much the only one, doing it. He was doing the artwork and stuff, and later on got help with the artwork and all that. He would take hiatuses. So there's people that literally started reading his manga and died and never got to know the end of the story. And we unfortunately won't get the end of the story with how he intended it, but I hope that it continues on, and we get more of the story, because I love it. It's really good stuff.
That's crazy.
But yeah,
I think they did a Netflix version of it, didn't they?
So in the 90s, they actually did a really good anime. It's a series, I believe, like 20 something episodes.
Is that the Golden Age arc?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Golden Age. Yeah, so it covers the Golden Age, which is kind of like the main character Guts, how he gets into the band and this and that, and it explains, like, it sets up the story of how it picks up, because in the manga it picks up he's kind of already the person he becomes, and he's doing his thing, and then it goes back to explain how all of that happened, and boy, is it messed up. It is messed up. It's a really good, if you're a fan of stories of order and chaos, and I like to say that as opposed to good and evil, because I feel good and evil is something that religion kind of brought on. So before that, I feel like people were pieces of order or chaos, and I feel like Berserk does a really good job at explaining that, because not everybody that is quote unquote good does good deeds to there's always circumstances that put you in a predicament, and it's not always going to be the best choice, but you have to choose in order to survive, or whatever happens. So well, guys, we're reaching up to like an hour and a half here. I mean, I can keep going. I love talking with you guys, but let me actually, real quick, we do have some winners to announce from this week's Instagram contest that we had. So I got a couple people. Let me bring them up. So first prize, which was Wave 1 All In, goes to...
That's a hell of a prize. That is
right. Coulton's Cooking Comics. So Coulton's, if you don't want it, you're more than welcome to send it to me. I guess I'll take it. But congratulations, my friend. You got an All In, and we will definitely post this on the page as well. But if you're watching, congratulations.
So Stelios, how are these people getting a hold of you? Do they message you?
Yeah, so we'll actually go ahead and post it on the page as well, and we'll tell them to get in contact with either Rob or through the Savage Crucible page.
Cool.
And we'll get all their information and send it out to them. So second place, we have the Dwarf Coin set, and that's going to be going to Chico's Creative Hands. So them hands going to have some dwarf coins in them. Congratulations. And then lastly, we have a Savage Crucible t-shirt, and that is going to Cloud Network. So congratulations. You get a Savage Crucible shirt. And again, guys, we'll post you in the page as well, so you can claim your prizes. And thank you so much for participating as well. We appreciate that so much. But with that being said, Matt, Is there anything you like to say? Parting words? Anything you like to add in?
Parting words. Think of a single thing. I guess like my dad would say to me when I first, don't take any wooden nickels.
That should be a quote on a shirt right now. That's what I'm thinking.
Right? Yeah, take
And, Gordon,
some dwarf coin.
Yeah,
I don't have any profound thoughts. I'm just happy to be here. I'm like in a blur here. I'm trying to read
Yeah,
the
right.
comments.
Yeah.
I'm trying to follow everything.
Is this real life?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably not.
Well, again, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to sit with us. Yes, Gordon.
I do have some parting words. I'd like to thank all the backers out there and everybody who's actually paying attention to Savage Crucible, because Rob's been trundling away on this idea for longer than all of us, and we've been kind of swept up and in the current and participating, but it wouldn't be going anywhere without everybody else. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, nice. Well said, mate.
Yes. Yeah, and Rob, anything you would like to leave us with? Any
Just
teases? Anything? Come on, you
joining.
like the tease. You know you like the tease. Come on.
No, I'm not going to. I just appreciate you guys getting on.
Flash or something?
I think.
Yeah. No, there's an OnlyFans for that. You got to pay for that. You know, it's not free.
Gotta pay for that. I appreciate the entire team. I don't think it's lost on people how many people are on the team. I'm glad that we're going to get to bring everybody to the front for at least a little bit, because their creative ideas that get fleshed out. It's really a lot of fun. So to do this together, and I am really blown away by how many people the line. I think we're up to almost 1,200 people now backing the Kickstarter, which is, think about it, from my standpoint. So yeah, I think there's more to come. And, I can't wait to see all the guys, even Matt and Gordon, flex some more. It'd be fun. So thank you very much. And guys, thanks for joining.
Thank you so much, guys. And I will say, parting as well. I had the pleasure of meeting Rob in person in Toylanda last year, 22. And I must say that one of the great things about Savage Crucible in this line, and even with my Africa Customs, was there was always great attention given to the sculptors, to whoever is helping Rob achieve this dream of his. And that to me is, that's something that I appreciate a lot, is, being able to know the team and, to know everybody that's involved with it, and to see him being given credit to and all that. So it's great. It definitely feels like a family, like the, my Extra Customs family. And I can't wait to get on and talk with some more of the sculptors and creators and all you guys. You guys are great. And I think I speak for all of us here that are tuning in live. We thank you so much for creating this line, for all your creative ideas. I think all we can do is just ask for more, So with that, thank you so much again. And you guys, thank you for tuning in with us today. And we hope to see you on the next live episode. All right. Everybody enjoy your Sunday.
All right.